Hi, and welcome to another ASIS Faces and Business Cases. Today, I'm so pleased to meet Joe. Hana's joining me. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Latita. Thank you so much for having me.
No, an absolute pleasure. So without hesitation, the first question I ask everybody is, please tell me what first attracted you to joining ASIS?
It was simply the fact that it addressed security in a wider environment that I wasn't used to the point that I felt an attraction or compatibility, if you will. It was a resource for me to dig into, draw from, learn from, network. Uh, so it's global forum. To me, as I said, it was alien. As when I came into security, I wasn't actually from security background. As well as an educational institution as well that I've learned very much from and certified in a sense.
Yeah. And I love hearing that question being answered because it seems to resonate. Everybody has the same sort of grounding and love for ASIS when I talk to them as well about what it is that ASIS can offer. So off the back of that, then, what aspirations do you have for ASIS and how are you contributing to the improvements of the security profession, industry, or even yourself?
Certainly. I'd like to see ASIS being a bit more exposed to other business sectors as well. After all, we support the businesses around us and we're part of them and promote their growth as such. I would like to see ASIS promote new skills within the security sector to facilitate cross-sector migration as well, exchanges, expertise. I mean, this should also cross-fertilize, if you will, and develop the next generation of security business professionals with excellent track records and achievements and skills. Perhaps move from security to audit, to HR, to legal, back, and so forth. What I'd like to see is something that I've been doing for quite a lot as well, is to mentor and voluntary support to, when possible, because the guy who pays our salaries sometimes might not agree to it, so I do it in my own time, to small businesses and NGOs who do not actually have their own kind of security function. So, yeah.
So is there the things that you're doing at the moment, supporting your growth as your own development? Is that something that you're finding that on behalf of knowing and having this knowledge, you're actually able to contribute to those areas?
Yes, simply because I am willingly exposing myself to new businesses, to new sectors, to new mentalities, to new professionals. That is continued development and growth for me, and knowledge is key. One of the best things out of all this is you can actually see how they all are. Some of them are interdependent on each other, reliant on each other. I mean, in the old days, we devised a security plan for a building and put doors and locks and everything here, and in many cases we didn't actually refer to health and safety. Don't lock that door because it's a fire exit. This is very classic. Today we'll put cameras, but we have to look at the Information Commissioner's guidelines as well. In the old days, no, it didn't matter. We just put the cameras up and down. So yeah, holistic, as I said. So you need to expose yourself, take time to expose yourself, read different articles. ASIS magazine is quite good, but there's a lot of other publications out there you need to look at. You need to look at the HSEs. Some regulations differ from one place to another. That knowledge is key for your successful operations, because we don't actually operate in a silo all the time in one location. Security now is a global issue. You might, and it's also a good way for you to support others who might reach out to you first. Your office in Shanghai reaches out, oh, I've got this issue. You need to be able to actually relate to it, to be able to give a relevant answer in a sense.
No, absolutely perfect. And that's something that I'm certainly seeing more and more since I first joined ASIS, is that more global connectedness and that global awareness. And I think that even when you are only maybe in a UK-centric role or with a UK-centric company, the fact of what's coming and the experiences of others, as I think we've alluded to, it's perspectives as well that can really open up that whole awareness of how things could be done differently or better, just because we're used to doing it a certain way in a certain industry. So
Absolutely.
on ASIS particularly, is there one area of security that you'd like to hear more from in our program?
Yes, this is something that's also relevant to me. 5 or 6 years ago, there was a slump in the oil and gas industry. A lot of companies restructured. There was a lot of layoffs, this and that. During this past 5 years, I personally, I've also spoken to and had discussions with several professionals globally, in America, in Eurasia, Africa, the Middle East, because it impacted the whole globe, basically. We found it very difficult when we were in a position that we were self-employed, running around from one contract to another contract and so forth. We found it very difficult to allocate time that we needed to earn money to actually go and study or to participate in a seminar somewhere on our own penny. We couldn't make those two meet, in a sense, to satisfy us getting our points and maintaining our certification and such. I mean, the last one I was involved in was the Poland one, and that was cancelled. So I said, all right, CPDs, what do I do next? What I'd like to see from the ASIS program, because really they're developing and moving forward, and we know the new norm that we're facing in the world is going to be similar to a lot of people now starting to work remotely. A lot of companies have realized, hold on, we can save money now by not having everyone at work, so we can reduce our workspace, we can reduce on our facilities management costs, catering, cost per square yard and so forth. So the new norm, the new future for us is probably going to be remote working, because you don't have to sit in an office every day, be seen clacking away and such. So what do I look for in ASIS? I would like to see ASIS to recognize that and devise a mean or a process or a program for us, for current PCP, CPP, PSP, sorry, CPP holders to contribute and gain some sort of CPDs through contributions to articles, surveys, voluntary work, stuff like that, and until they can allocate, until such a time that they can actually not be back on their feet, but be able to do it in a normal manner. I mean, that avenue of participating or resitting tests all the time is just far too rigid, in my view. This is something I faced. I managed to get past it, but there are a lot of people in positions that, in different positions, that find it very challenging to allocate the time or the money to maintain their CPDs. So all the good work they've been doing is lost. Sometimes it even impacts on their employment, particularly if they're self-employed as well. That is something that I was planning to bring up for some sort of discussion in a security forum or another.
No, I really appreciate that, actually, because it is something, and you might have noticed, I don't know if you caught me, I actually made some notes about that, because sometimes I think, as we all do, we get into routines and we get into ways of working, and it's really important that the members bring these concerns and awarenesses regularly. Just because you've said it once doesn't mean that it wasn't heard. It was just maybe something that couldn't be adapted at the time. And I'm a big advocate of people regularly raising the same issues, because one day we're going to be able to do something about it. We can't always solve all the problems at all the time in one go. And you raise such a valid point around timings as well, events, and when are we pushing this type of content so that you can claim your CPD. So we are working on that. I do want to, put that out in here now, that we have got some awareness, but I hadn't had the full appreciation that you've brought to me there. So thanks, Joe. We're going to conclude the ASIS Faces business cases with that. And all I've got to say is thank you so much for bringing that. Thank you so much for your time and your passion and what you are doing for ASIS. And we hope to see more of you. And I look forward to seeing you at an event, hopefully very soon.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe.
Cheers.